Fam, what's good? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Run the thumbs up on all these videos. We appreciate you guys being here. The fourth quarter program, absolutely on fire right now for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Check this out. This is Jaeden the Hulk Roberts getting you going early on. The fourth quarter program is where it starts in the college football season. Thumbs up if this young man was one of the top offensive linemen at the end of the 2023 college football season. I absolutely think so. You also have a really nice picture right here of Deontay Lawson, one of the team's leaders, having an autograph session here coming up. And one of Alabama's top inside linebackers, along with Jaeden Campbell. But I think when you kind of think back to last season and you think of the outside edge rushers with Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell, your interior linebackers this year with Deontay Lawson and Jaeden Campbell should be your 1-2 punch. And I honestly feel that it's going to be one of the top tandems in all of college football. Article that was written today by ESPN's Chris Lowe, who does a fantastic job. Here's an excerpt from that interview. It talks about Alabama having a chip on their shoulder. I think there may be a common chip on our shoulder, DeBoer said. Our players here at Alabama fell in overtime short of playing for the national championship last year. We were one step away from winning the national title at Washington. Let's take that next step together. I like that quote. And again, that's an article that you can read on ESPN for many different reasons. I feel that Coach Kalen DeBoer understands how this team feels, kind of the adversity that they had to go through the last, couple of months, right? You lose Coach Saban to retirement, following, a loss to Michigan, just one game away from reaching the national title game. And honestly, I still feel that if Alabama would have played Michigan after that Georgia game, they would have won the national title game. That's just, that's not here nor there. I just feel like that's how good this team was last season. I think kind of that break after Georgia, who knows what happened, but kind of look back to the season, it was adversity. And now what Alabama has to do is they have to come together, build that cohesiveness. And you see that from this team, particularly during this fourth quarter program. They're getting after it. And I think the assistant coaches have done a really good job impacting this team from the jump. I think Coach Kalen DeBoer did a really good job getting Kane Womack here on the defensive side of the ball and retaining Freddie Roach and also Robert Gillespie. I think those guys are going to be staples. But right here, I see that Jamarcus Shepard has that fire, has that energy, and I think the players are absolutely thriving off. There was Deontay Lawson right there. There's Emmanuel Henderson, Freddie Roach, all these guys. I mean, they're hungry. There's Jaeden Campbell right there pushing weight, right? And I kind of come back to this photo of these guys just absolutely putting in the work during the fourth quarter program. Show a couple more clips. A couple announcements made today about players being in the new video game, NCAA football. And you have Jalen Milroe, who opted in. And right now you're going to see a lot of announcements from players that are opting in to be a part of the video game. So players have the option to opt in or opt out, and they get $600 to be a part of that game. Well, from my understanding, really good source, says that Jalen Milroe is considered a premium player to be a part of the video game, and he got much more than that $600 range. And also you have a player like Malachi Moore, who also announced today that he is in the game and that he has opted in. Can't wait to see Malachi Moore this coming season, not only in the video game, but in real life. I mean, what he's been able to do has been fantastic at Alabama. Plus, his brother is a preferred walk-on at the University of Alabama as well. Really excited to see those guys as they continue to grow up and get to play together. How awesome is it for the Moore family? This is interesting. Caleb Odom looks like he's moving from tight end to wide receiver. We've talked about it a couple times, but he looks great. And I was thinking about this. All right. The wide receivers coming into the class of 2024, Ryan Williams, right? Amari Jefferson, Rico Scott, Bubba Hampton, and slide in Caleb Odom. I mean, my goodness, what a squad that Jamarcus Shepard has to work with as the co-offensive coordinator, assistant coach, and wide receivers coach. And Caleb Odom recently tweeted him and said, let's work. Let's get to work. Love that mentality. And I think the wide receivers clearly stocked. Another good photo coming up of Coach Kalen DeBoer with his team. And as you can see, I like this photo for a lot of different reasons. Players locked in. This was after fourth quarter program today on Thursday, February 22nd. But there in the background, that's the standard, right? Alabama has put together all of those national titles. And now that's the standard. These players are accustomed to playing at the highest level. I mean, in my short time covering Alabama football, moved here in 2016, live in Tuscaloosa. Um, I've covered national title games. It's kind of like a way of life, like going to the playoffs or going to the national title, right? The games that I haven't, there's been 2 seasons where I didn't cover a playoff game. That was the Citrus Bowl and that was the Sugar Bowl. Other than that, you're in the playoffs or the national title. So that is a standard. And I like the fact that Coach Kalen DeBoer is coming here from a team that just played in the national title. And one of the things I keep going back on is the fact that he said he doesn't look at some of these items when taking over for Coach Saban as a challenge. He looks at them as an opportunity. And I like that mindset. And I think you have to have that mindset when you come into Alabama to coach up this team. And I think that, with Coach Saban leaving the other night, I found it was interesting. And I talked about this on one of my shows. Coach Saban at the Legacy Foundation Awards presentation that was put on by the Birmingham Quarterback Club. He said that he's going to do everything in his power to work with administrators and, athletic directors to put college football back in place. And I started thinking about this. I was like, what if Coach Saban had to step away from the job he loves most, coaching, mentoring, to save college football? I was thinking about that and I was like, wow, what if his last legacy, because you see him, great shape, looks great, smiling ear to ear. He's recently had a couple basketball games, spoke to the basketball team. But what if the last thing that he does before he really goes on retirement is saving college football? I don't know, just something that I came up with recently. But I love the transition so far. From Coach Saban to Kalen DeBoer, and I think it's been like 42 days. Think about all the news. Think about all the transition that we've been through over those 42 days, and how Coach Kalen DeBoer has sailed through that, has navigated through it. He put together a really good coaching staff. And we're still waiting on new announcements. We're still waiting on the coaching contract. We saw today that A-Day will be on April 13th. We knew that date, but we didn't know the time. It'll be at 3 p.m. So I think 1 hour later than its usual time. I would assume it's going to be on ESPN. All eyes are going to be there. But I think overall the attendance will be really high to see Alabama football participate in spring football under a new football coach who has a lot of momentum. And now it's up to Coach Kalen DeBoer to recruit and build that system. So look for more 2025 recruiting news to come in terms of who is Coach Kalen DeBoer offering. You see that Juju Lewis will be back in Tuscaloosa in early May. He's a prospect who's a very talented quarterback that is currently committed to USC out of Georgia. And I like the fact that they're going after him for many different reasons. He's a quarterback that has escapability, and he's going to be in Tuscaloosa, but he is also making visits to Georgia, Auburn, Colorado, and, of course, USC, where he's committed to, and that's from Chad Simmons of On3. So a lot going on right now, but we will keep you posted right here at Bama Football on YouTube. We appreciate you being with us. Hit the thumbs up on all these videos, and we'll be back as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I'll catch you during my morning shows, which are at 8 a.m. or in the evening time between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. right here on Bama Football on YouTube.